Darren's Air Conditioning Services. Professional services at affordable prices. They have air conditioning units starting at $2,800 with free delivery, installation, and Wi-Fi ready. We supply Pioneer, Lennox, Comfy, and Infinity, all at unbeatable prices. Servicing of a 12,000 BTU at only $150. Don't forget to check them out on Google, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. So contact Darren's Air Conditioning Services at 749-8245. Darren's Air Conditioning Services. Professional services at affordable prices.
Unique Woodworking Trinidad Limited and Unique Lumber and Construction Guyana Incorporated are premium manufacturers and exporters of high-quality bifolding sliding and pocket door systems, fire-rated doors, windows, operable louver shutters, hardwood floors, staircases, architectural moldings, and toughened laminated glass. Unique Group of companies also supply kiln-dried greenheart, mahogany, cedar, and teak for both residential and commercial projects, locally and regionally. Our logs are cut and shipped by Unique Lumber Guyana and dried in our computerized kiln at our factories facilities in Trinidad. Visit our showrooms to see the quality, which makes us unique.
Yeah, good night. It has been a long 2 days that is being morphed into one day. And all of you, any of you who are following us over the last 24 to 36 hours would realize that we've been focused on the divers at Paria. We were the ones who broke the story. The families of the divers at Paria contacted me yesterday afternoon when they were not getting any assistance from Paria or response from any of the other media. And they contacted me, and we did a live video that went instantly viral. And this became an issue for many of the people in Trinidad and Tobago. While we've been covering this and talking to people, I've been thinking of two things. I was thinking of the cave-in that took place in, and I hope Satish could locate that for me. There was a cave-in somewhere in Central or South America, and it was so far underground that when they finally drilled a borehole and created a capsule system to get it down to pull them out, it took months. And they had drilled air holes, they had drilled a communication shaft, and it was so far down, it took each person one at a time 20 minutes in the capsule coming up that shaft, and it took 20 minutes to send the shaft back down. They were down there for months, and the company was able to keep them alive and to rescue them eventually. And then also, in the recent past, the children who were caught in Tamluang, I think that's the name of it, 12 students in a cave that flooded, and it flooded itself and sealed itself. And nobody knew where the children were, and they were able to find them and rescue them. We have 4 people who are in a pipe. We've known where they've been since half past 3 yesterday. They rescued, it was 5 of them, 1 was rescued. And the rescue team wanted to go back and rescue the others. And Paria raised issue after issue as to why they couldn't mount that rescue. Safety concerns, pollution concerns, everything seemed to have been paramount other than these 4 unfortunate souls. We still don't know what's the condition of those souls. Today I was able to talk to the families. I was able to talk to one of the men who helped build the pipe. I was able to talk to dive specialists and occupation health and safety specialists from around the world. I was able to talk to former Paria, well, Petrotrin actually, former Petrotrin employees, senior employees who were able to tell me about the types of systems and policies they implemented to do those sort of things. And I also found out today how good a job Paria has been doing of hiding all of their disasters, catastrophes, calamities, and accidents. An entire platform caught ablaze. It's the workers that saved it, not a word in the media. A gentleman from the same LMCS contracting firm, they dropped a pipe on him and he lost both his legs. Not a word in the media. Another one almost lost his head, had to get stitches above his eye. Not a word in any media in this country. And that means that Paria has done a marvelous job of hiding. And if these families did not reach out to me, and if we did not do a live video, would we even know this is going on? Business is going on as usual. Boats are coming and going to the other platforms in Paria as if there were not 4 citizens of this country trapped in a pipe right there. We have things that we are going to address. Statements made eventually, almost 24 hours later, by a Minister of Energy, and every word he said was proven false, like the Paria release that they sent out. Now, this is not me trying to be combative, but we've been there and we've seen the frustration on the faces of brothers, sisters, mothers, wives. We've seen families, children, but we've also heard from independent contractors, the divers who offer their services. There was an international dive company who offered their services for free. Paria was not, it was not going to cost Paria a cent. To this minute of today, I am still unsure as to why Paria behaved the way they did. We're going to talk to Gary about tonight, the Secretary of Fishermen and Friends of the Sea. Because once it have to do with Petrotrin or Paria and oil, we turn to Gary. He has decades of experience in the environmental concern. But before we do that, and we have somebody we're going to call down on the site to get an update right now. But before we do that, we have Paria Bihari of AZP News, and we've asked Paria to give you the rundown so that you could get it from an independent news source. Good evening, Paria.
Good evening, Philip. Good evening to all your viewers. Good evening, everyone. It is a story that, of course, AZP News has been following since it happened. We heard it like you. There are a number of issues that we're trying to get clarified. Among them is that why it is, we're hearing that when the initial incident happened, one of the divers, Mr. Christopher Budram, was rescued. And there was an attempt to go back for the 4 others. And the Paria had refused that approval. Now, the Paria has sent out 2 releases, one last night, and they're basically stating that there was an incident at the sea line, and that their contractor was LMCS. And the other issue they sent out today around 3 o'clock, they're saying that the operations are ongoing to with the 3 men regarding the 4 men who are missing. Now, we, like you, spoke to some of the relatives of the missing men. One of the relatives of the missing men of Rishi Nagisa. I spoke to his wife and his wife's cousin. His wife is Vanessa Cussy, and her cousin is Ria Suku Kaulesa, and they are still there at the gate of of Paria now at Point of Pierre. They went there since last night. They have not been told anything. They said they had a meeting today, a small meeting with the Minister of Energy Industry, Mr. Stuart Young, and they said they didn't really get any information from him. What they were told, they said he was just telling them that it was difficult. He spent 28 hours trying to get home, and they didn't really get anything that they wanted to hear. And they said that they were telling him what they wanted, all news and exactly what was going on, and he didn't really know anything. I also, AZP sent him a WhatsApp last night, and I know that you called him, but he didn't respond, just to get an idea of incident. So that's the issue there. But what is interesting is that the relatives of Mr. Nagesa, he has a 3-year-old daughter at home, and they're not hearing anything. The relatives are there right now. They're camped out outside of the gate at Paria at Point of Pierre, and no one is telling them anything. The only information they get is by other employees from the company LMCS who would come outside and who they would know, and they would give them some information. And that is what the status is right now. Now, I want to just mention a number of former Petrotrin workers who have gone there and had to given assistance, just like you, Philip, to these relatives. They brought some tables, they brought some chairs, they brought candles, and I'm sure they gave them some water and food. And these people who worked at Petrotrin, and they are trying to assist the families. People like, and if you don't mind me calling them, Darren Gisiawan, Clyde Ramkilawan, Colin McIntosh, Mr. Jackman, Rousseau, and Dobson. They took it on their own. Some live Arima, some live south, all over the country. And they're trying to assist because they are not getting any information from the relevant authorities. That is Paria, the Ministry of Energy, even the company LMCS.
I want to ask you a couple of questions, if that's okay.
Sure.
Have you been in touch with LMCS?
I have been trying to contact them. I've sent a text to one or two other managers and nothing. Even the relatives said that they have sent text since Friday and they have received no response, not even a reply to them.
Am I correct in saying that one of the people in the pipe is the son of the owner of LMCS?
Correct. Mr. Kazim Ali Jr.
So maybe they just distraught.
Well, we don't know. I've been trying to actually I've been trying to get a number for the owner, but I haven't really gotten one yet. But
I'm
I've
not covering for anybody, but I'm just thinking that LMCS should be as eager as anybody else right now to have gotten some sort of resolution to this.
Yes, the relatives of Rishi, they said that when an incident happened, they heard it from the wife heard it from her uncle, who heard it from one of the workers, and she called the company and she hasn't received any information. No one from the company called them. They had to go on their own, and they were trying to find out exactly what went on. And the security there wasn't of any help at all. And now some of the workers there, they have blocked off the area and they're not allowing anyone there except I think the Coast Guard and some other people who are there now trying to trying to retrieve the people.
More than 24 hours have passed. More than 24 hours. Do you not think, as a media professional, a journalist, do you not think that one of the first steps Paria, the Ministry of Energy, or the government should have taken was to appoint a media liaison to give information to the media and to the families?
Definitely, I think at least the families should be able to know exactly what is going on. They should have been treated with, I think, in a different manner. I mean, in terms of they should at least be informed. Something that is happening there. They should have been maybe taken, given better accommodations, to actually stay or inform them. And there seems to be some sort of blackout because we are getting these releases from Paria. I mean there are a few and far in between, and of course it doesn't say much. You know what I mean? So that is actually but we have our sources and a number of people who are very close to the incident and worked there, said that there are a lot of theories. There are two main theories that took place. I don't know if you want to explain to you now, Philip, or you want to go on. Hello?
What is your
Yeah.
theory? What is the theory?
Well, I've been told that what there are two issues that either somebody placed up the pump on and it caused a suction because these five divers they were sucked in, right? And the reports are that they saw a vortex, that is the water, pull them in. Now, the latest information I have is someone who said that when they clean these pipes, when they're doing work, sorry, because remember they were welding. These were certified divers, welders, that were doing welding on this pipe, which is 36 inches long, which is basically 3 feet wide in diameter, right? Three feet. They were welding it, and usually what they did, they placed something like a balloon to block off, already fumes and any liquid, which might have been crude oil. So this balloon now, so you got to work on the other side of this balloon. So they said they were working there and they had completed the work. And that is why the son of the owner went down. He just went down apparently to ensure, inspect it to make sure everything was okay. And they now this is what is being they are suspected. It is not anything that they have said that confirmed, but some people who are close to it, people who have worked for Petrotrin many years and worked in the energy industry, told me this, that what could happen is that the balloon may have collapsed, given way, and that caused a suction because it was caused it was empty, and when they moved it, it caused a vacuum to take place. Or, and what they suspect could also happen is that when the workers say that they had completed the job, the people there misinterpreted it, and someone caused the balloon to collapse, and therefore that caused the suction. So there are two main theories now that the people who are close to this are telling me that might happen. Of course, this is all theories at this point in time. They don't know anything. I think they are still looking to see what is happening, and I don't think they have been successful
You
in
see,
seeing anyone yet.
prior,
Mm-hmm.
the problem I'm having with that is we know where these people are. They are somewhere inside a 1,200 foot length of 36-inch pipe. They are somewhere
Mm-hmm.
inside it. 50 feet down, 1,200 feet across. I have been told that they have access to both ends of that pipe. They could come at it from both sides simultaneously. You could use remote operated vehicles with lights. You could use remote operated vehicles to reach the people. You don't even need to send divers. Somebody asked me if this shouldn't be a police investigation. I don't know what to say. What do you think? They started to
Well,
make like a
it would depend on what happens. It depends on the circumstances. I mean, we're not really hearing anything. So, in other words, what I tell you is what people who have told me, who have been close to the area. So we just have to wait and see. It will depend on any sort of negligence that took place, and we don't know at this point in time. But what I can tell you is that people in this industry says that before anything like that is done, any job like this, there is what you call a risk assessment has to be done, and that details everything. And when you go and you do the job, that every single thing you do, even if you lock off a valve, if you put a switch on, you have to log that and you have to record that. It is a very stringent procedure and a very stringent things that happens in this sort of environment. Another thing I'm told, Philip, is that usually for this sort of work, it is usually done by what is called a hat and hose, where someone is off a vehicle and they're connected with, when I say a hat, they would have the oxygen in them and a hose.
I don't mean to interrupt you. I want to tell you, this morning we
Yeah.
had Brian Joseph on,
Mm-hmm.
and he gave
Right.
extensive
Right.
explanation of hat and hose as opposed to why scuba is
Scuba.
not the right
Yes.
thing for this,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
But
Yes.
we learned
Yes. Correct.
today that
Correct.
scuba had become the preferred choice on this job site and has been going on there for 3 weeks.
Same thing. I've heard that, and some people are telling me usually they should have considered using the hat and hose
But
as
it should
opposed to the
never
scuba.
have been scuba. And that this is the first thing that leads to the incompetence of Paria's management. Because ultimately, Paria is responsible for everything done on their platform. So any contractor who is coming to work, this is what I was told. This is not, is a house to paint, go and paint it. This is a job that is broken down in minute detail to let you know each step so that accidents do not happen. So that people do not accidentally flip a switch. That's the term he used to turn on a pump. So as of this point in time, what we do not know is what really happened to get these guys inside of there. That's compounded by the fact that the company responsible has done nothing to rescue them.
One of the major issues, as a human being, as a journalist, we sort of we feel it for the families, and I think we try to get some sort of information for them, and that is what we try to do. We hear their plea, we hear their cry, and they are frustrated because they really don't know what to do. They are there waiting at the entrance, the Paria entrance at Point of Here, and they're not getting any information at all. And I think, as you say, that is a communication issue that I think has to be dealt with at this point in time.
I agree with you 100%. I want to tell you thank you very much for giving us the cold, dispassionate, journalistic approach to this conversation. And I think we're going to have you on more in the future to keep us on that fine line where news is concerned.
Thank you very much, Philip. My pleasure.
Yeah. All right, Satish, we're going to take a call. We're going to be making a call now to Trisha, who is on site. She's going to update us as to what's going on.
Oh, no. Hello?
Hi, Trisha.
Hey.
How are you doing? This is Philip Alexander.
Tired, we stressed, we here. I don't know what to say, no?
Trisha, are you where I left you all today?
Yes, but you see, I can't remember. So much people are talking to. I can't remember exactly what I'm saying or what.
No. I just want to make sure if you all are under the same little bus shelter in the car park. That's where you still are.
Hello.
You hear me, Trisha? Ellie?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, are you all under the same bus shelter we left you all in the car park?
Yes, we are here. We was in the dark, waiting for OWTU. Okay. They brought chairs, they brought tables, they brought bulbs, and they brought toilet facilities for us. Because we didn't have anything before.
I want to put a call out now to all the members of the Citizens Union and the Progressive Empowerment Party in and around Marabella. If you know where the Point of Pear car park is by the roundabout, if you could take if you feel moved to take anything, drinks, water, hot Milo, some sandwiches, there are kids, if you could bring any type of comfort, blankets, just feel free. They are there, they're there 2 days now, and they could use any help. Trisha, update us as to what the situation is like now. What have you learned since?
Well, far as what I hear, right, they're going to pump it out from 0.6 on 5, right? The pump for 6 reached, but it's not in position yet. Pump 5, the pump's still on the badge. Far as what we learned is like the permits. The permits just keep piling up, and when we went to the meeting with them earlier, they said that they're not going by protocol. They're just studying about bringing out our family, bringing out our loved ones. But Now it's a set of permit after permit. Who needs a permit when there's lives inside there? That can never be like, why is that important? We need our relatives. We need them. Look at the hour and nothing hasn't started. When we had the meeting earlier with Colin Inbird, he said what? Sorry, not Colin Inbird, sorry, my apologies. Stuart Young. They said that within 2 hours, the engineer said within 2 hours, the pump going to start and it's going to pump out. That was around a little after 1. Look at the time now, and we're still here. We're still here and the pump even in position. So how long again we have to wait?
One of our members is a safety officer, and he said to me that he believes that they are stalling as much as they can so that they could bring out the bodies in the dead of night, midnight and beyond, so that it's not as big a story. I don't know if that's...
No, but we're not leaving here, we're staying here. We're not letting anything thing. It's up to the media if they want to come and stay or they want to think, but we're not leaving here.
We will be
because
back.
We was here last night, right? No media came to us. We had to call the media this morning, in fact. And that is how we actually probably get a little thing today because nobody didn't actually come this morning. The whole night we was by ourselves. When we came back this morning, my sister came back this morning, nothing. And I had other relatives stayed whole night here.
No, but
in the dark, mosquitoes, come on. And you know the little bush shed we was under.
I know that our videos have crossed 100,000 views, and that combined, and that we've been working hard at this since yesterday, and I know that that is bringing it into the public space. So the other media not going to be able to ignore it because this is a big story to Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes.
So we're going to stay on it tomorrow morning. Gary Aboud, myself, Satish, Raphael, Daryl Nath, the rest of the team.
Yeah, he was just here and told us they want to hold a press conference in the morning.
If we don't have them out by morning, we on boats tomorrow. We go into the platform.
We hope so because something needs to be done. It's just now. I mean, come on, we don't want just now. We want now.
Nobody can blame you for that, Trisha. So you have our numbers, and I am going to keep in touch with you. I'm going to try and see if we could get people to drop blankets or sleeping bags or anything.
Yeah, because we haven't slept, right? Since the incident occurred, we have not slept as yet. We really, really stressed out here. And this promises, it's not making sense and making our lives worse here. The uncertainty, they said they was going to keep us updated. That was the promise in the meeting. No one has contacted us since that meeting. We're still here. They know we're here to have a chair, to have a light, nothing. Them didn't even care. They don't care. We just here. You think for some of our friends, I think they started to drop little food, I think, and then the OWT came and really gave us a pull out here.
Could you tell me what you think the greatest need is that the people need tonight that we could try and get it round up and dropped off for you?
I think we good because we get the coffee, the tea what we asked for. We have chairs now because before we had two little bench for how much of us. We have chairs, we have tables. I think that's it. And we have a lot of food. Some people just brought some sandwiches for us, honey.
Yeah, water, blankets, those kind of things. It could get cold.
We don't have the blankets.
But
that might be nice.
We'll try and see what we could do for you. Any change that takes place, please inform us so that we could go live immediately and inform the public. Okay?
Okay.
Thanks a lot, Trisha. Stay strong.
Thank you.
That's a lot. That's a lot. And I don't care what side of the political divide you're on. If that was your father, brother, son, friend, you would want there to be people in office who cared. The Minister of Energy lied to these people this morning. He came from wherever he was to lie. I'm trying to find that voice note that I have lost in the 100 million WhatsApps that I have. And if anybody is hearing me who was responsible for sending me the Stuart Young voice note, send it again, please. Because I'm searching and it's lost. And that's why I hate voice notes. We have also with us tonight, but before we go to that, Stuart Young promised this morning, as Trisha just told you, to pull out all the stops and to act with haste to get their members out, their family members out. Now you have to remember that he was saying that almost a full 24 hours, 20 hours actually. He was saying that 20 hours after the accident happened, and they had done nothing by then. So my take on this is that he came to lie. And I really am upset that is the contempt this government has for these people. Satish, I am searching high and low for this voice note. We have some footage. I want to show you footage that we took 5 o'clock today from a drone. I don't know if Satish is ready with that. There you go. Now we took this footage. This is the platform. And as you could see, nothing is taking place. This is at 5 o'clock. The minister said at 1 o'clock, 20 hours after the accident happened, that they would be moving to rescue these people. Pumps would be put in place, and look at it. Nothing. We put that drone in the air this afternoon, and we sent pictures to show you where we were. And nothing. And that was at 5 o'clock. 4.5 hours later, according to Trisha, still nothing. So not only was the government and Paria criminally negligent in how they managed this job, but their response to it and any rescue that these people could have been expecting from the government or from Paria has been, I want to say, botched. I want to say a level of incompetence I didn't know we were capable of. There was a window of time in which these people's lives could have been saved. We don't know what their situation is now. We're hoping for the best. But right now, it would take an absolute miracle. And we're supposed to have Secretary of the Fishermen and Friends of the Sea, Gary Aboud, standing by. And Gary and I met briefly on the road today as we were working side by side trying to get stuff done. And we were speaking briefly. Satish, what time is Gary in? Gary, good evening, Gary. Gary Aboud. Gary, welcome to the show, and feel free to jump right in.
Hi, good night. Can you hear me?
I am hearing you.
I'm sitting here listening to the program. I mean, and we had a conversation today that I still can't get over it. But meeting families today was heartbreaking.
Gary, you're breaking
Heartbreaking.
up a little bit. You know, I wonder why that would be. You're
I could
breaking up a
change the.
little bit.
Try and change the distance. Okay, is it better now? Is it better
Much
now?
better. Much better.
Much better?
Much better.
Okay. Get away from this. Let's see. Is this better now?
I think so.
Is it any better?
I think it was better before. I think it was better a
It
little
was.
while ago. In between those
Oh
two
shit.
locations, you were better.
Okay. Is it better now?
I think so, yes.
Okay, so go ahead.
Yeah? Sorry about that. Sorry about that.
Is it okay now? Go ahead.
I think so, yeah. Let's make the best of it.
Okay, stop me. Stop me if I break up again. Okay? Go ahead.
Yeah, let's try it. Let's see how it goes.
Okay. Well, I wanted to congratulate you and Sat, other members of the team, for maintaining what you do.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you for that.
it's a thankless job, but I think it's so necessary. Um, you know, Philip, every time time and words are so precious that we have to be careful that we choose the right words that because I mean you're an influencer. So we need to influence the right thing. So I'm reading a book here. It's called The Art of Love. It's written by an Asian poet, somebody from Shanghai, grew up together in Shanghai. But the bottom line is that if there's no love, there's no respect. There's no love, there's no accountability. There's no care. There's no protocol. All of the things that make an organized society come out of love, respect, carefulness, kindness. What those people are going through right now, my heart goes out to them. I wish they could go home and sleep in their own bed and wake up with, to face the new day with their grief. Maybe it's good that they can share with each other in a space. But I, I want to say it again that my condolences to all the members who lost their relatives. And as blunt as it is, they have to prepare not to see bodies because what is recovered is not what they lost. They're going to be a mangle, a physical mangle that comes out. The pressure, the velocity of what was tapped into is unimaginable. So they're going to be twisted or torn, ripped. It's a horrible thing. But what is more horrible is the fact that the government doesn't show any love. You come on your line and see there's this big operation, and there's nothing going on. Thank God for you, Sat, and your crew, your team. You uncovered a typical scandal. It's not the only scandal. It's many like this. Whole nation is overrun with a whole series of scandals. You saw that Gary Ethelbert, I hate to say his name, it burns my tongue to make a statement that he's not accountable for the level of crime. He provided the guns and the tools, and that's their business now. And that is
You wanna hear?
exactly what is happening.
You wanna hear? You wanna hear his latest contribution to the national psyche? With all the commentary around the tragic death of the 9-year-old who we lost to a fire in the Beetham area, a couple days ago, I want to compliment and salute Akil Ordain. When I got the news, I called him. He was on spot and was working with the police to bring Councillor Akil Ordain. When I got the news, I called him. He was on spot and was working with the police to bring relief and comfort to the family. He remained deeply engaged until late into the evening when we settled them down in the accommodation that was located for that purpose. Thanks, Mr. Ordain. Not new, but I just felt to say well done. Tomorrow we will be in the Beetham to launch a steel ban, and thereafter we will further support this unfortunate family. They just lost a
You know,
9-year-old.
there's no surprise that the community kicked water in his face when he came to them a year or two ago. It's so disgraceful. But I have a couple of things that I wanted. The first thing is, if there's no love, there's no respect. There's no protocols. And if protocols are breached, there's no accountability because there's no love. Love is the basis of the society that holds it together or splinters it apart. So 29 hours after this event, no government minister has made any public statement. A week since a national electricity failure, national, there was no statement made at the time and none since. No accountability. Just business as usual, we in charge. We driving around with chauffeurs, we have armored cars, big salaries. Don't give a damn about how did this even happen? Every disaster we face should have some accountability. How did it happen? Who is to blame? Who made a mistake? Where did the breach occur? Were protocols followed? What were the protocols? Why were protocols not effective? And can we trust Stuart Young to expose his own incompetency? Can we trust that there will be a proper investigation, that these families could at least rest knowing what went wrong? I mean, as a nation, Philip, everybody should know. But what about the families? They're grieving, they want to know what happened to daddy. I met actually two of the sons, and I actually know the father. Yeah, I want to know. So I just switched the topic a little bit, right?
No, you're
If
not
we
wrong.
not,
I want to tell you. I just wanted to add to what you were saying. One of the people, Yusuf Henry, lost two of his children this year, and they wanted me to mention that while you were speaking, that one of these people, this is the third loss for our family. One of the boys in the pipe, this is the third loss for that family. That is unimaginable, unspeakable horror. So you're right to humanize it, Gary, and I appreciate you taking that tack because I have been focused on the inadequacy of all of those in authority to respond to the tragedy and mount a rescue. And I guess that's my way of trying to not get bogged down in those emotions because it'll stop me. That's people's father, people brother, people son is.
yeah. I mean, the minimum that we should have is a prime minister who appoints an independent team to immediately investigate disaster. But We lost current. The whole nation lost current a week ago. No investigation, no statement. A week has passed, no charge overseas. But here at home, no statement, no accountability. And people on my chat group, with all these so-called big shots and leaders of society, leaders of business, all these professors and doctors from all over the world, people say I politicize the issue. But politics is accountability. Politics is representation. It's the act of love to give back to the people to protect them. And how will we protected? 4 boys died. An excruciating, painful, sudden death. And no statement. They just gone like,
No,
what
but
do you call it?
you're talking about investigation. $7.4 billion in the Mosquito Creek. And where's the committee to investigate that collapse? They're hoping that we forget that and we move on.
Exactly. And we were EIA for that. And everybody who was supposed to have commented said too much work, no time, too complicated. So the application had to be redone a second time. We were tracking the application. The society is being interfered with by politicians who are bold-faced and crooked, Philip. There's a new age politician we have not yet had. These bunch that we have running the country. They're crooked. They vai. They want a grandchild. Hey, look what we did. So they do it quick. Look, they put a 500 million highway from Kumuto to Guayco. The highway built, Philip, but they never got an approval. They never give a contract. They don't have the money to connect it. For 3/4 of a mile from Guayco, the highway stops in the forest. It starts in Kumuto, 700 meters from the Kumuto main road. Philip, if you go to Kumuto, 2 cars can't drive on the road. When a car is approaching you at night, you have to pull aside because you could get hit because it's like a paved dirt road. But you put a 400 million highway in the forest, in an environmentally sensitive area. You employed consultants 10 years before. They said put it 500 meters south, far from the forest. But you want to pass it next to the minister's private property. The minister could make up million from the highway. But is the highway needed? Were we consulted? People are starving, people hungry with big stomachs right here in Trinidad. We don't want to hear about that. No, Gary, exaggeration. Don't show that. But who live in water giving out 1,000 bags of food every week? People are suffering, and we who live in the urban areas, who are professionals, have all kinds of alternative connections to income. We not suffering, they are suffering. Who is representing them? Not Colin Mimber, not Keith Rowley, not Fitzgerald, but they're not representing people who need to be represented. And so what we have is a whole crumbling of the society where we don't know what are our gas royalties, how much we earning as a percentage in our royalties from all of the extractions of all the oil and gas that we get. And how does it compare to East Timor? How does it compare where in East Timor United Nations negotiated it? And I'm telling you that they get 10 times the value of the royalty that we get in Trinidad, and I've checked it. Let somebody challenge. And what the UN delegate told me, he said, yes, Mr. But we negotiated it for East Timor. So what we get crumbs. So Kamala and Rowley Flatley and say, well, we get extra 100 million. So the oil company is so stupid, they just throw out 100 million US. They're giving back what they earned improperly. Why would BP boast on their website in 2003 that 27% of their revenues come from Trinidad? And then when we make a big noise on it, they pull it off of their website. They have 25 nations that they invested in. Why, if they invested in 25 nations, little Trinidad, they could boast they get 27% of their global revenue. But people want to call Paria and say I'm not from here. What I do here? Go back and sell. People are colorblind. Nation is divided. I'm making my points because I feel it in my heart. And who want to curse me or burn me down or shoot me, that is their freaking problem. But we are losing the battle, good against evil, and those at the helm of government are diabolic. They're ripping off the nation. They're ripping off poor people of what we should be getting for ourselves. And that is why what you and Stat do is like a holy grail. Because you up against the odds. 90% of the population is split for black or Indian. So they're locking you up. But you talking more sense at both sides together, but not taking you on, not giving you the authority because they're colorblind. Because they're not colorblind. Wassa, Phillip, Wassa 1.3 billion, 1,320 million US. Ionics boosted 1,327 million to be exact at the exchange rate conversion at the time when I stated the total value of the turnkey of this alcohol. But in 1 year, they earned 550 million. So in 2.5 years, they recovered the investment. Now you tell me any single business in the history of the planet that could recover your investment in 2.5 years. And people don't understand what I just say, Philip. Wassa earns Desalcott. Desalcott costs 1,327 million to set up. And every week they sell more than $10 million. Every year, more than $500 million in sales. But they don't pay for no raw materials. Raw material is free. So all they have is maintenance cost. And it's not a high level of employment. Desalcott don't employ 57 people. So every week, this country, $500,000, $100,000 a day in interest to the Hafiz Karamat family. Every week. Now, I happy for Karamat. He God rest his soul. His son is a billionaire. God bless him. But who negotiated that contract? And who upgraded it? And who extended it? Kamala making excuses to say she extended it for good reason. The contract was extended prematurely to 2035. 2035. And millions, billions of water on the East Coast. We can't collect water. We're so stupid. We can't dam rivers collect water like how we have all this reservoir. 525 million every year, more than some years 575 billion. So the Hafiz Karamat family have been paid back with their gun-toting machine guns. They've been paid back after 2.5 years of a plan that was prematurely extended to 2035 by Kamala Prasad Besaso. And she's saying that Rowley was there, Rowley did this. Well, all of them is part of the same bacchanal. So the people can't get water, and we paying 500 million a year. That is the least we've ever paid. The most we've paid is over 600 million because it was a bad dry season.
You know,
But
I would
people
like to add, if you would let me, you know, the Salcott cannot produce in a year the amount of water that runs down the Diego Martin River out of the mouth by Westmoreland into the sea.
in one river,
One river.
and they go say it as they said in the chat group and around, that water is polluted. Okay, polluted. A simple filtration system is fresh, it's not salt. It's easier to filter
You
riverine
need to
water.
scrub. You need to scrub and reverse osmosis salt water to get the salt out. You can't do that to the river water.
And they talk, what about the Caroni River? I ride by the Caroni. Every day I pass by so much water. What about the East Coast water? The East Coast have clean water coming off the northern rain, but they make excuses. And the people pay the price. And I'm not going to sign off the contract till 2035. I might need to be here on the planet. What are we leaving for our children? I mean, I'm talking about one thing, right? It's a public issue, but nobody listens to us. Phillip. Most of your viewers might have switched off already. Not, they don't want to hear about it. People, a lot of people have lost their compass. So the society is falling apart. And it's based on all of the diabolic things that Satan does. Satan teaches us to segregate. So tomorrow we have a carnival, a festival, where because I don't believe in the vaccination, you lock me out. The whole nation has accepted discrimination. Discriminate against those who didn't take the vaccine. Your brother talks too much sense, but people don't want to hear. They're not listening.
But besides the discrimination, Gary, besides the discrimination, if I was going to accept the discrimination, you can't charge me for it. You've taken my taxes to pay for a carnival safe zone that I cannot attend. That is fraud.
Hey, the devil must be dancing. It's jab jab. Rowley should play jab jab. That is what we should make a cartoon of him playing jab jab because that's what he's doing. It's so wrong. It's a national festival. It's not a segregated festival. I wanted to talk about Trinidad Generation Unlimited in Labrie. We paying serious money to them for guaranteed consumption that we're not using. Nobody knows about it. No accountability, no national statement. The Minister of Energy, Minister of Works, Minister of nothing, no Prime Minister, nothing. They built it in Labrie for a smelter and give it guarantees that we will consume certain volumes. We don't use it. So we have a dead elephant. Nobody knows. What is it costing a taxpayer? Nobody knows. What we owe. Who they borrow the money from to build it. If I tell you who, you'll get upset for human rights violations against children. But that's who we borrow the money from. Big secret. But how are we going to repay it? Who is going to repay it? Poor people who get in food baskets from living waters. They are going to repay it. We don't know what the oil and gas royalties are. We don't know what the quarries are paying us in royalty. You have billionaires, Phillip. Billionaires involved in the quarry sector. They make Fitzgerald, Ethelbert Hines, a lifetime member. Lifetime. Basdio Pandey, Patrick Mann, lifetime members of the Quarry Association. But what do they pay us in royalty? How does it compare to England, to Canada, to Alaska? And why should they pay so much less here? And people don't know that they have hundreds of millions in royalties that they haven't been paid. Phillip, I'm going to tell you something that I'm sure you know already, but it's very upsetting. We evaluate the royalties based on what is called an honor system, according to a special select committee led by Botiwari. We don't have any independent government verification. When Kamala came to power, her Minister of Energy removed all the checkers. So the value play in royalties, according to the Auditor General, in 5 consecutive reports before he was removed, he doesn't have any way of evaluating, and he stated it in his reports that the value that we are being paid is correct. He could only evaluate that what was paid. But he says in the report that it's a weakness because he should know, he should have an independent verification of the volume so he could verify value. FFOS call it value for volume. So the oil and gas, they did tell us what they took out. And they pay the royalty based on what they tell us, according to the Auditor General. No, the Auditor General is a bureaucrat. He retired. The new Auditor General didn't say a word. Who appointed the new Auditor General? How come? All of a sudden, the new Auditor General didn't find the same problem? Because who appointed them, told them what the condition of your appointment is. See this part in your report? You can't see this. You're getting your $40,000 a month. You're getting your perks and your holiday and your pension. But you cannot say anything about value for volume. So all of a sudden, the Auditor General get quiet. Is that godly? Is that the loving thing that a prime minister will do for his people to ensure that they get proper value for volume? It's a horrible thing, I'm telling you. But the economy is being undermined by the political electorate. They are destroying it and they are being paid. They're getting their money outside in the Isle of Man, in Antigua, in these banking shelters where you appoint directors at the Isle of Man and they cover it so it doesn't show who is the owner of that wealth. And the British companies, they're experienced in how to do it. And it's been debated in British Parliament as well. Same BP in British Parliament when they're negotiating oil and gas royalties in Africa. It was debated in their parliament that why should ministers of energy, prime ministers of those African nations get £1 million accounts open in the Isle of Man by BP. They could soon be, it was said in the British Parliament under parliamentary privilege. It's not good. It's not good, Philip. All the little charities that they do for our little poor children in La Paria, Guayari, that's all bullshit. I mean, after a program like this, Philip, I can't sleep until 2 o'clock to tell you the truth because it destroys it. It's eating away at me. I can't just be
I want to tell you
dispassionate
something.
about it.
I really want to tell you something. Eh? The reason I'm sitting here so silent is that I am feeling what you are saying because I do this nightly. I am hearing what you just said about not being able to sleep till 2 o'clock in the morning. People don't understand that, you know. People don't understand that when you do a show like this and you try to come down after, that it may take you all night. I remember the video I did a night this week, and I thought I was too harsh. And all through the night, I kept thinking I would just delete that video. And early the next morning, Nicole Moses died in her yard. And everything I spoke about in the video is what happened to Nicole Moses. I don't know. I really am thankful that you have been this open and this honest tonight. I want to tell you something. You've given me a renewed strength just by hearing somebody else say that they understand that feeling, that after this show, how long it takes to get yourself back to normal. Trinidadians will never know. I made a statement the other day. Trinidadians will never know what it takes to be a real activist in this country. They'll never understand. Bring it back to these families who sit in, and it's just this version of it. I mean, How many people's pains over the years, how many different people's pain do you have to hold and comfort? How many different people that you have to take and hold and feel their pain? These people tonight, they are the latest. They are sitting, and yesterday when it started, I was in the fire headquarters arguing for the same little 9-year-old girl who died. I went to ask, how is our fire service so incompetent that 9 people died in fires this year? 7 children and 2 elders have burned to death. And the deputy chief fire officer's response was to tell the fire service, call the police for me. Don't let him ask no questions. We've lost this democracy. We've lost it. You're talking about Heinz. Heinz get $9 billion a year as Minister of National Security to spend. That's a lot of power. The fire officers, if they remove the gag on fire officers tonight, all the fire officers walk off the job. All of the fire officers are upset. The entire unranked Coast Guard upset. The supervisor of insurance, the central bank, those people that can't speak, if you let them speak, they walk off the job. The people who work in for solid waste management company, all of them, that is worse than slavery, what they're doing, those people. We are poisoning those people to death. We represent one gentleman, he is 65 years old, all the teeth fall out his mouth. You see the man, he look like 100. They are poisoning these people to death in the meter to pick up our garbage. We don't. I don't know what was done to us, boy Gary. I don't know what was done to us. I don't know what was done to the nation that could make us feel that to hear me say that the people in Beatam being poisoned and we don't care because it's not us. We're not in the, none of our family in the Beatam. Okay, carry on.
That can't be God. I'm not no church, but I recognize good and evil, and there's no love in what you're saying. What is going on in our country? I mean, I can't understand it. There's this bias of these political parties, the African party, the Indian party. There's no third choice. Vasant Bharat, I know him, I met him a few times. I know him as a minister. I must tell you, I like him. And him and this guy, Devan Maharaj, went up for leadership of the party and they get nothing. They just get booted out. And these are guys, I know Devan as Minister of Agriculture. He was very good as a Minister of Agriculture. He was good to us. He listened to our complaints. He investigated. He responded. We never had him like that. But the people didn't go in it. They like Bacana, Milan. You whining at carnival with an outside woman kind of man. That's what they like. Something is wrong, Philip. There's a deep spiritual issue that is driving politics. And I don't know. Maybe we are born in the wrong time. We should have been here 100 years now. And we here to. I mean, we lost Trintok, Trintopet, Trinma. It's so many oil companies that we've had. And when other countries in the world were making billions, our oil companies declined a loss.
Somebody told me today that the only reason that our government went to Doha for the gas conference was to negotiate away our national gas company. Like they destroyed Petrotrin, they are about to destroy NGC. And that is why the madness of them funding as a 10% stakeholder in Atlantic Train 1, they squandered all of those hundreds of millions of dollars when the major stakeholder told them it is a fool's errand. We could never carry it. All of those taxpayers' funds were wasted there to make NGC now top heavy and for them to come and tell you like they did with Petrotrin. Because if you remember, Espine had said Petrotrin turned a corner, and except for the debt, if you remove the debt of the madness of the gas to liquid and whatever it was, escapade that Malcolm Jones and them were on, if you remove that $13 billion, Petrotrin was profitable, even with its top-heavy over-management and all of the extra expenses that they gave themselves. Even with all of that, Petrotrin could have made money. 3 months later, Franklin Khan was telling this country that Petrotrin was going to drain the economy and collapse the country, and they had to shut it down. 3 months after Espine said that. How you asked just now, how do you know the truth? How do you know who is lying? Who is the final arbiter? Espine was the man that you put in charge, and you contradict him. So when the Prime Minister finally comes to the people and tell them, even if you're closing your fridge and you don't hear me, we're not closing down NGC. I tell in Trinidad and Tobago, that's what they went Doha for, to cut deals, to sell out NGC. That's our last income pillar. That's it there. After that, Trinidad gone.
And without a procurement law, any third-party oversight, it could be sold for $10. And $5 billion or 200 million US dollars paid into the Isle of Man, would never know, because they have the authority to sell it without any valuation of a third-party oversight. Like they could sell the Port of Spain, they could sell Labrie, the Port of Labrie to the Chinese, Guayaguayari, Toko. Toko could be built by the Chinese, owned by the Chinese. Scarborough, Phillip, the new maritime law, which is currently before Parliament, Section 51, gives the authority to the minister to appoint the board to manage maritime affairs. That board, which is politically appointed, has the authority in Section 56 to write its own procurement regulations. Now, until it does, it has to comply with the procurement law. But even the procurement laws was discussed in Parliament last week. They appoint a board to manage the procurement procedure, and it's politically appointed. So you're putting all your boys in position to hide from the public a fair value for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. You could buy a face mask for $50, but I sell it for 75 cents. And they are. It was exposed in the newspaper 2-3 weeks ago. A face mask. You pay $50. Now you could sell a port. You could sell the port of Port of Spain after we just spent 50 million US upgrading the cranes. You could sell the whole port for 5 million US. And you could say, well, business bad, we sell the port. Gabriel could walk away tomorrow and say, well, hey, I bid and I got it. There's no need, there's no regulation requiring public bidding. It's scandalous. And the people are just blind. They're not listening to what you're saying. They don't believe us. They're not taking the time to verify. And they're discounting it. They're saying Caribou is a Syrian. He's a 1%. Don't listen to him.
Phillip is a half a 1%.
Huh?
They say Phillip is a half a 1%.
But they don't listen to that. They don't hard work, sacrifice, good things that you might have done, how you got it. They just want to discount you and discriminate, and that is wrong. This is evil. So we're losing the baby with the bathwater. We're throwing it all.
When you said earlier, and you expressed anger, rightly so, at the voters of the African and Indian parties that support that, I want to tell you, you see the people that you referred to twice on your chats, the big shots and the professionals who excuse it and who let it pass, I expect a lot more from. They're educated. They're supposed to understand the down the road value of losing the port, the down the road value of gutting the port, charging the taxpayers to upgrade it and then selling it for a song. They're supposed to understand. They're supposed to be able to see. But a lot of them, Gary, already have their ejection seat in place. A lot of them have their golden parachute set. So, Gerard, don't matter. But I want to say to you, because I know this, because when I called you this morning live, I said I go in Point Up here, you said I come in. And I know, Gary, you care. And I know I care. And I know other people who do care. And I think that is a hard hill to climb. But I think that unless people like you and me and others leave this country, we have no choice but to fight for this country. And I think that we have to have some conversations outside of this scenario. But with regards to what's going on in Marabella tonight, Point Up here, what's going on Platform 6, with regards to the guys in the pipe, if they do not, because I've been told that they're going to flush the pipes in the dead of night so that the bodies could come out without the glare of anybody, and hopefully they could manage the narrative in the morning. If that doesn't happen, we're going back down tomorrow, and we will be going on a boat when the tide is in our favor. So I just letting you know that. And if you're available, it would be nice to have you there again. Yeah? I don't know if you want to give us some closing comments, specifically aimed to the people in Point-a-Pierre, because give them some comfort. I know they were happy to see you today.
And I'm sure it's going to happen tonight. I don't think anybody should see their relative, because what they see is not going to be a pleasant memory. Their souls, may they rest in peace. Don't go and look for bodies and say you want to have an open casket or you want to see them for last time. Because what they just came through was like an atomic blast. The pressure that they went through with what it's not the same person that you saw the last time. So you don't want to see the recovered body. You don't want to. Let them rest in peace and keep the memory of the happy moment you saw when you saw them last. Flood your mind with happy memories and let those memories carry you through this time of grief. I'm so sorry for that. You know why I'm sorry? Because it could have been avoided. The boys that went down and brought that guy out, they went down, they braved, and when they should give them a medal, because they braved their life and went in there and brought him out, the survivor. And I hope he survives. Those boys should be given a national medal for bravery, but they should have been supported. They should have sent, there was another guy living in there, they could have brought him out. It's very, very unfortunate. But it's too late now, Philip. It's too late. The families, they need to rest, they need to take care of their health. There were some old people there, Philip. They don't have the endurance to be there overnight, night. Next thing you know, somebody gets sick and die from grief and from sleeplessness. More lives should be lost. That's all I could say. I don't know what to say.
After this is over, I think that we need to call for a proper investigation, and we need to make sure that those who are responsible for all that went wrong here, the aftermath and the mess of the lack of a rescue, that they need to be prosecuted. This is a serious issue. This is bordering on manslaughter. There are people with responsibilities in this industry, and they know they take these jobs with an understanding that they have responsibility for human life. And this was depraved indifference to human life. I think that we are clear that everybody from the minister don't have questions to answer. But let us, as you say, get these people out, get them their rights, But after that, I think we need to make sure, and we need to stand firm and ensure that justice is done here.
Thank you for the opportunity, Philip. Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot, Gary. Secretary of the Fishermen Friends of the Sea, one of the hardest working activists in this country, Gary Aboud. I've said publicly, before I was an activist, I sat under a tent on the Foreshore Freeway with Gary, who was protesting. And that was the first protest I ever attended. Gary Aboud, Lincoln Myers, these are people that when they say you stand on the shoulders of giants, these are the giants. We don't know what's going to happen now, what's going to happen next. But I'll tell you this. With every passing minute that they mess up more, they dig a bigger hole for themselves. Don't mistake our silence or our softness in this regard for weakness in any way. We've been meticulously collecting and collating witness statements. We have the timeline. We understand what has happened so far up to the point where the accident occurred and they were sucked into the pipe, and we understand everything that happened since with the complete failure of Paria, the Minister of Energy, and the government to do anything of substance to try and rescue our citizens. And that cannot be excused. And we won't let that, not on our watch. The Citizens Union of Trinidad and Tobago will not. This will be a thing that we make sure is brought to justice. I have already started organizing proper lawyers that I believe would get these people the compensation they deserve. And I think that these families need Trinidad and Tobago to stand with them now as they go through what nobody should ever have to go through. And I'd like to say to them, I have been withholding offering condolences because I am a believer in miracles and I want to hold on for a miracle. And I know the chances now are so slim. And yet, until we know for certain, my complete compassion, I stand with you. We're not going to stop. We've been at this since you all called us into this, and we'll be with you through it all. But I'm not giving condolences until I know that condolences are all that's left. So excuse me on that. I want to say thank you to all of the people that dropped what they're doing to help. I want to say thank you to AZP News again for giving us journalism that we could respect. I want to thank Daryl Nath, Raphael Banfield, of course, Dave Lux, Satish Ramsaran, the team. I want to thank Felicia Holder, Precious Cruikshank, Indira Singawai, and the rest of the crew at Victoria Foods Grab and Go for carrying on as if the organization was not involved in other big and strenuous things. I want to thank Sean Sunarain and Sahai and Natasha and Ian Griffith for continuing to represent all of the Citizens Union members with all of the issues they have. This organization has grown to something that can operate independent of itself and continue to function. And I am very proud of all of our senior members, those who work behind the scenes, Lima and Hadassah, who fly the flag almost every morning. And I know a lot of you turn to these pages to see that pep talk in the morning show with Lima and Hadassah. I want to thank them. I want to thank all of the members who continue to work in front and behind the scenes to help build this movement. I know that a lot of us are frustrated, but I know that a lot of us are also hopeful. And I think that we are growing at a phenomenal rate. And I think that at some point, Trinidad needs to realize that if not us, if not the collective us, if not 1.4 million of us, then who? Who will save us? Who is going to come around and save us and put all the wrongs that Gary Abu just pointed out? Who would put them right? If not us. We need to stand together as one people under one flag, one black, Indian, Syrian, Chinese, white, any different version, tall, short, fat, slim, gay, straight, whatever differentiation and divider, that name that they come up with, we still all just people. We still all have the same desires, the same needs, the same drives. And ultimately we want a place where we could live, where we could be safe and happy, and our loved ones could be safe and happy and maximize their potential. And if we all want that, why can't all of us row in the same direction for a change? Everything Gary Aboud said tonight, I endorse and underscore. It felt refreshing hearing those words come from someone else's mouth. And I want every other activist, we were waiting until we got into government to form the Activist Council. But you know what? We're going to bring the Activist Council, one of our election promises, we're going to bring it to a reality now. If you are an activist of any kind, environmental, women's rights, men's rights, fathers' rights, children's rights, animal rights, if you are an activist of any kind and you would like to have a seat on the table with other activists and join us as we put together an activist council that could work together to bring all of the issues that affect all of our citizens and all of the nation state of Trinidad and Tobago, and make sure that those issues are addressed. If you would like to be the strength in numbers that it takes to speak that to power, please reach out to me, 682-2110. We just want to create the space. We don't want to control it. We want to create the space and have an activist council that could meet and see how we could join forces and add our strengths to each other to bring results. We have to do this. We have to stand together. When Gary asks who, everybody keeps asking that. Who's minding the store? Who do we turn to? Who do you report the president to? Who do you report the prime minister to? Who? Us. Ultimately, it's us. They work for us. We pay their salaries. And if we come together and join hands and unite in that power, you will see how quickly we could fix all that ails Trinidad and Tobago. I am certain of it. Thank all of you who've been here with us. Thank you, Satish Ramsaran, who has not stopped since this issue broke and who is the power behind the cameras to make these shows happen. Thank you very much for that. And if I've forgotten anybody else who's been with us in the past 48 hours working on these 3 major issues that we've been working on, thank you all the same. Chalk it up to tiredness. Until tomorrow, stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago.